Okay, so the US Open's happening right now in New York City, and they're doing something kind of different. We're talking about this new reality dating series called Game Set Matchmaker, which is filming 8 couples on first dates at the actual tournament. I'm Radheyan Simonpillai, sitting in for Elamin Abdelmahmoud. I got Jael Richardson here and Shireen Ahmed here. We're gonna get into just why, okay? Welcome to Commotion, y'all. Hello.
Thank you.
How's it going? Hey.
Hey.
Hey, so look, JL, the first episode of Game Set Matchmaker dropped last night, but before we get into that, it sounds like the US Open thinks that there is an appetite for mixing sports with romance. What do you think they're tapping into with this?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to know I am from a sports family. I am sports obsessed, but I also, like most people, love. And I think that they're tapping into whether or not you're a sports person or not, which is, polarizing. Love is love. And I think that people, especially the crazier the world gets, the more atrocious the world gets, the more we cling to these moments of like love and hope and happiness and goodness. And I think they're trying to tap into that need for something that we can all kind of rally around and enjoy and celebrate.
Okay. Well, look, we were watching this new series. It's got 8 couples, like each of them on a first date in these episodes that were filmed last week, but they're going to be rolling out daily this week. And really, Shireen, my big takeaway from this is that this was like a huge branding opportunity for the US Open and a tequila brand. So, after watching that first episode, was it satisfying you on reality TV terms, or did we just kind of get suckered into sponsored content?
No, I'm not obsessed with reality TV. I am a devotee of Dubai Bling, and that's it, because everybody's terrible on the show, and I love it. But as a sports journalist and someone who lives very much in the sports era, I can tell you, I think this is the highest order of tacky. Tennis is known, and I don't like these storied traditions of things that are gatekeeping, but there's a certain level of panache and class in tennis that we have, and in their own way, we've seen disruption in those spaces from Serena and Naomi, and now latest Vicky, our own. But this, y'all, I'm not down for this. This is just, for me, it was too much, sponsored or not. I'm sure this is in the tradition and the line of corporatization of sport and of reality TV and love, unfortunately. But I was just, no, I just go back and watch the Golden Girls for romance.
Oh my God. I can't believe you brought the Golden Girls reference into that. Listen, Jael, look, let's actually listen to a little bit of the first date from Ilana and Ronnie, the first couple.
I grew up in Long Island, like 30
nice.
minutes from
Okay,
here.
nice. Oh, yeah.
So I've been to the US Open a few times.
Nice.
But I'm really happy to be back.
This is my first time here. This place is insane.
Yeah,
It's huge.
I know.
Big campus.
Are you a tennis fan?
I just kind of got into it like last year.
That kind of made me happy I'm no longer in the dating pool, But listen,
Right?
Jael, I gotta point out, like, this show was actually originally pitched to us as like a bachelorette style show, right? Like, we only, it was supposed, we all assumed we were gonna watch that girl Ilana go on 8 dates and pick the winner after all of that, and then I think just this last weekend we realized, oh no, it's gonna be 8 different couples. So, as a seasoned reality TV show watcher, talk to me. What did you think about the format as it is?
Okay, so I've been watching The Bachelor since OG days, like first season till now, not always every season, but I know enough about the whole thing and other reality TV dating shows as well. I enjoy them. I enjoy studying them. I think the thing that makes a good reality TV romance show is, you have to have a good premise and setting. So you think of something like Love Island, they're on this fantastic island, or something like Love is Blind, where the premise itself is fascinating. That's a key part of it. Or you have to have good characters, and preferably both, but like really great people that you latch onto. You really like love their story. You want to see them do well. And I think the problem with this launched episode is that neither of those things are happening, right? We have a setting that's really just the upper level of like a tequila restaurant or like the upper level of some building. You don't know who these characters are. Initially, she's the host, but she's also like, hey, I'm going to go on the first date. And you're like, wait a second,
Yeah.
what is happening here? So I think that they've really missed one of the key elements of reality TV dating shows, which is the storytelling and building that storytelling element. And as an author, that's what I'm looking for. Tell me the story of why I should care about this girl or why I should care about this guy. Tell me the story about why the US Open is like the best place to have a first date and to really see like love happen. I feel like it was a huge missed opportunity to not use the word love in the title or the slogans, given it's the only sport that uses the word love in its actual rules. You know, like there's just all
100%.
these storytelling things that are just failed and missed in this weird mashed together YouTube thing.
Yeah, they definitely didn't have the sauce. Okay. And maybe that is actually why they're like, okay, no, let's find some other people to go on these dates instead of just this one Alana. But look, Jael, all the Grand Slam tournaments tend to have a certain personality. So does it make sense for the US Open, the US tournament, to be the one that then puts out a reality dating series?
I mean, I think personally they're picking up on last year's US Open. I remember watching because Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were there, and they were there with a bunch of friends, and there was all this like love in the air happening around them, the camera dedicated on them, and people tuned in for that reason. And I think they're trying to pick up on that. You know, I'll tune into a sport for the fascination of something other than the sport because I may not understand or know the sport. I think what Shireen had said about it being tacky for tennis, I think the way that they've delivered it is tacky. And I think it does sort of diminish the brand of tennis and the brand that space created in a way that doesn't match, I think, the attention it got last year when Travis and Taylor went.
Yeah. And I think it's
Me,
sorry.
I'm just gonna jump in here about that, like the tradition and the culture of Wimbledon or Roland Garros in Paris. They're very different. Now, I'm sure the Europeans are looking over and going, "This is incredibly," like they poo-poo it. They're definitely gonna watch it because we're all gonna watch it because it's that bad. But it is literally on par for course, which is a golf reference. I know, not a tennis one, for this type of tournament. And Americans don't want to elevate their sports culture. That's fine. They want to, have the tequila branded. And I don't actually drink, but I could have used some tequila in this 6-minute episode, honestly.
Yeah. I was going to add that I also wonder how much they were inspired by the movie Challengers, which made tennis seem really sexy, right? The movie was Zendaya, and it's caught in the triangle and stuff. But Shireen, I mean, you're talking about the Europeans poo-pooing on this, but what about the athletes? Like, how have they responded, if any, to this series?
So, I mean, to be honest with you, the tennis players are locked in, literally doing the tennis. Like this is a time for them. I'm sure they scroll all the athletes I've ever interviewed have always been aware to a certain degree of what's happening around them. And the only one that was quoted, Donna Vekic, was like, "Wait, what?" And I think that quote is actually brilliant. And it was quoted in the New York Times. And for me, that was literally my first response. I was like, "Wait, what?" There, but nothing seems to surprise me. We have seen, different tennis players in the past be part of like this mockumentary, which is funny and sort of. I don't know if Jael would call it reality TV. I don't know about that much about it, but they've participated in stuff like this, but not at a dating show or a dating thing, like a reality dating series. So for me, the players actually not paying attention to it is on point. That's how much attention it actually deserves from the wider athletes. I'm sorry, I sound like I'm absolutely bashing this, but please.
Well, listen, Jael, I mean, you come from a sports family, but you're also a reality TV series, like a reality TV fan. I mean, did this series make you interested in tennis at all? That aspect of it?
No, and I feel like they missed the whole point of that, right? Like we don't even know, are we going to see them again? Was it just like an initial date and now they're off to the races? Like, again, I think that the quality of the editing and the quality of the filming was so low, it looked like a high school or college project. High school. I'm going to leave it in high school. I don't want to insult
influencer content, really.
Chosen it. Yeah, it is just really poorly done, poorly put together. And that's not to mention the story is not quite structured. Like what could be cool, for example, is if we see all these couples and then we watch them like live at the US Open in a section and can analyze like their body language. Does he get up and get a drink for her? Does he like look at all interested? Does she look interested? Are they interested in other couples? Like I would love to see that kind of like centered, focused level of the dating approach. Like, so yeah, we get these 10-minute segments, but like, let's see them at the match. And then also, I don't know, show the match.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I think there needs to be this way that the dating process is actually integrated into the US Open, so that the whole point is that we learn the names of the tennis players, we learn what's happening in the game, we learn the rules, we get more comfortable. And I think that's what it's missing. It's like doing this very front level work without thinking about the full story.
Yeah. You know, and when you're saying like just, you know, scan for real couples in the audience, I'm just, that Coldplay kiss cam is coming back, and it's like,
Right?
really, that's what they want, right? They need to aim for that kind of a
see
viral
that
moment.
she went to the bathroom and started hooking up with the other guy from the other date.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
they're like swapping.
I would love if Jael was the producer on the show, because I feel like it would have more merit.
Yes.
Because at the moment, no, seriously, like even the background, and something that would be really interesting as a dating show is, how do you react with each other when you're watching live sports if you're both really into it? There's tension, there's drama, there's excitement. Like, I would want to watch couples watching sports to see how are they the same, like how do they handle that stress? Like, that would be interesting television for me.
Yeah.
Not
How do they handle when the music comes on and they're like,
Yeah.
there's music playing?
Yeah.
Are they dancing, or are they like, dude, do not embarrass me, please? You know, like,
Right.
we need these little segments used as introductions to what's going to happen during the matches, so that we're like embarrassed for them.
Yeah. Well, listen.
Totally. And like the most interesting thing was the spicy rim of a drink. Like, that for me was the only detail I took away. 6 minutes, 39 seconds. I'm never getting back.
Don't forget how
But I
good the
will
Paloma
watch.
was, by the way. The Paloma, the tequila drink. Listen, Shireen, there's been like a recent report about how Gen Z is watching live sports less and less, right? So, I mean, but clearly, I mean, we wonder if this is a way for them to try and reach Gen Z with all of the things that you're pitching, but they did not deliver. But what are some other ways like sports broadcasts are trying to reach out to this demographic?
One of the different ways, and you're right, they're not watching live sports, but there's no data indicating that younger folks aren't watching streaming sports or social media captures. In fact, on different platforms, such as, like, I teach sport media at Toronto Metropolitan University, and the ways in which we encourage the students to think dynamically about their storytelling is not something that we see happening here and in traditional broadcast all the time. So I think ways in doing that are definitely social media clips. Like, this could have done really well in a certain way, but I don't know. Like, I haven't had a conversation with a Gen Zer about this. The episode dropped last night. Maybe I'll force one of my children who are in their 20s to like have a go at it and see, like, they'll be like, what, Mama, what is this? Like, what's happening here? But we'll see. Maybe I'll get them to watch. We can have a conversation if they think it's interesting. Like, I will do that sociological research myself in my own home. Like, I don't know. But if this is what young and new sports fans want, then I'm concerned for myself and the world. If this is the way in which they want it, then I have other concerns. But the way that sports will reach out is definitely social media. It's athlete storytelling, it's first person storytelling, it's player perspective. And even in my experience in covering like World Cups and major tournaments and the Olympics, people are really interested in the background. Like, how are the storytellers telling the story? That is even more interesting.
Interesting. Well, and then, Jael, given everything that you've all expressed about this first episode, are you going to continue watching in the hopes that maybe the other couples have more sauce than this, or are you just tapped out?
I need to understand why I should keep watching. Like, if I'm just watching 8 first dates, no, thank you. I am not interested. That's so awkward, and I'm out. But if I'm watching to see them eventually in some other context, have some conversation or figure something out, I might. My concern is, the good thing is that they're 10 minutes. They're very short segments, so I'm not wasting that much of my life. The bad thing is I just don't have a confidence that it's going somewhere good.
Okay, yeah. Well then, Shireen, last word to you. Setting aside the matchmaking and you know, whatever this show is offering, can you tell us what else we should actually be looking forward to at the US Open?
Victoria Mboko, are you kidding me? Like, Victoria all the way. I had a chance to see her at the National Bank Open in the semis, and I have never been so stressed out and excited in my life. There's just such a new, great form of Gen Z is actually looking for like really cool tennis people. Look at the Canadian youth that we have in tennis right now. They're very racialized. They're cool AF. They're bringing a character and a culture to the sport that we actually haven't seen on our own stage. So I will be looking specifically for that. Like, there's so much. There's Layla, there's Felix, there's Vicky. Like, it's just that I would watch that. Now, don't get me wrong. I will watch this show just in order to text Jael and complain about it. So I will fully commit to it just because I'll just watch it while I'm waiting on the GO train or something.
I feel like that's what people do with reality TV anyway, but okay.
Hate watch. Yeah,
exactly.
Totally.
Always.
Listen, this has been so much more fun than the actual show itself. So thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having us, Rad.
Jael Richardson is the author of Gutter Child and The Stone Thrower. She's also the executive director of the Festival of Literary Diversity in Brampton, Ontario. Shireen Ahmed is a senior contributor with CBC Sports. She also teaches sports journalism at Toronto Metropolitan University. And you can watch Game Set Matchmaker on the US Open's YouTube channel.
These days I'd much rather be on my own. No more walking those streets that I once called my home, because down every lane.
I'm Radheyan Simonpillai, sitting in for Elamin Abdelmahmoud. So that's new music from Canadian singer-songwriter Mac DeMarco. It's called Home, from his new album Guitar. Really laid-back song from a singer who, by all accounts, is a really laid-back personality. Rollie Pemberton is here to explain how this guy from Duncan, BC became one of the country's most successful indie artists. Welcome back to the show, Rollie.
Hey, how's it going?
Not bad. How are you?
I'm great.
Listen, Rollie, I understand you're actually an old pal of Mac DeMarco. So talk to me about, like, how did he get on your radar, and what did you think of him back then?
So I knew Mac back when he lived in Edmonton, when he was just a young kid on the music scene. My first impression was, what's the deal with this guy who looks like the Mad Magazine character? Like he's got this kind of Dennis the Menace energy, and he's just, you were always seeing him at shows, and he's just a really eccentric guy. But I really got to know him more when we both lived in Montreal, because he ended up moving into the same apartment as me. I was living with Jane and Dave from the band Tops, and it was really like just indie rock, like Canadian music, reality show or something. And the whole time he was starting to work on his music, and he would always be on the first floor in his apartment in his underwear, chain smoking, making music with all this analog gear. And that's how he became him.
I mean, I feel like that's how I hear, like, Bob Dylan described or something. So, but did you have any sense at that time, though, that he would become this big star?
Yeah, I feel like back even in the Edmonton days, like everyone in the scene, we all were kind of like, with his first band, Makeout Videotape, it was kind of like not if he was going to be a star, it was kind of when, right? But for me, it was in the Montreal era. I knew he was really blowing up when I was walking down the street and I looked at an Urban Outfitters clothing display, and the mannequin was dressed up like him.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, man, that's so crazy. Can you imagine, like, someone is becoming this person that, not only the mannequin, but then like people were dressing up like him, and it was just kind of like a Beatlemania vibe.
Yeah, someone who you remember from just being in his underwear, and yet, but really, like you talked in the past about how, like, his style and personality have rubbed off on people, right? I mean, so talk to me about, like, what is it about him, like, what is he doing as a singer-songwriter and a musician that really connected with so many listeners?
I think he's just a really authentic person, and I think the main thing is he just did it all himself too. Like, he's very DIY. He, built his own system, his own rigs, like all the like audio equipment. He produced it all himself, and he still does it like that, right? But it's not only just the music that he makes, but he has like incredibly good taste. He has good instincts for pop songwriting, and it's not in a showy way either. It's just really very true to himself.
Mm-hmm. When you talk about the DIY thing, I was reading the New Yorker profile on him, and it's like, okay, that's what comes out when this guy's like doing an interview with the New Yorker while he's like wood chipping and stuff like that. But that's, I guess, the whole aura. Let's take a listen to Mac DeMarco's biggest hit. So that's from 2014, Mac DeMarco's song Chamber of Reflection, which is currently his top streamed song. It's got almost 1 billion plays on Spotify. Rollie, what's interesting, I mean, I'm seeing you bumping to that track, and, my producer Stuart, he's like, Rad, I know indie rock's not your scene, but this guy got a cosign from Tyler, the Creator, and Mac Miller. So, talk to me about, why, what is it about Mac DeMarco's music that's, resonating with rappers?
Yeah, I think rappers love him. They love his music. I think it all comes down to the drums too. He just has that kind of hip hop knock on his drums that just feels like he makes you want to rap over it. I was about to start rapping, hearing that Chamber of Reflection, But yeah, I think it's just his music actually just sounds like samples, because he's got that kind of DIY thing. It's like finding a crusty old sample of a rock song. You're like, man, where did I get this? Except it's new music.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, then, that particular song is actually huge on TikTok, right? So what is it about that song that has this kind of staying power on social media?
I think that melody, which I believe is actually sampled, is from a Japanese artist by Mac even, but it's just this kind of thing that has taken on a life of its own. And it's become just a sound that is synonymous with, I don't know, sadness or something. It just really brings something out of people. It's evocative. And it comes up on every social media platform, every few years. I think that is a real sign of why it's so successful.
Okay. Well, then let's bring it back to today's music. All right, let's hear a little bit more of something off the new album.
Miracle. Your help could set me free. Miracle from above.
So that's Holy off Mac DeMarco's new album, Guitar. Now look, Rollie, this is his first proper album of new records, new songs, after 6 years, in about 6 years. What do you think? I mean, based on what you're hearing, how do you think his music has evolved?
I think he's really matured a lot from when he first started. The way I knew him, he was just a real punk artist, and it was very in your face, fast rock music. And I think over time he's mellowed out. He's really expressing his inner chillness that has always been there. And I think this record, it reminds me a lot of kind of the early solo McCartney albums. It really has this kind of lived in, comfortable feel that is underneath it. There's amazing songwriting, but it's really subtle. And I think it's just a really good direction for him. I think as part of why a lot of his fan base, I'm really impressed with how they grow with him too, because I think it's they were all these kids, I can't remember the song. It's Tearing Up the Neighborhood or something from a few albums ago, and this really punkish music, but he's kind of bringing them along with him as he matures and evolves.
Okay. Well, I mean, look, I want to latch on again to the DIY aspect of what you're talking about, right? Because despite all this success that Mac DeMarco has, he's still very much doing a lot of it himself. He's playing all the instruments on this record. He's putting it on his own record label. He owns his master recordings and kind of maintaining control on all from top to bottom almost. So what do you think other artists can learn from Mac DeMarco on that front?
I think the thing with Mac is he just has consistently doubled down on being himself and really being true to himself, and only making decisions with his own best interest in mind. He's not gonna just, I'm gonna play the biggest venues I possibly can just because for more. No, he intentionally wants to play smaller places. It's that kind of thing. And I think that is something that a lot of artists should look to. That is not always about more. It's about just being true to yourself.
Okay. Well, listen, Rollie, this has been absolutely fascinating. So thank you so much for being here with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Rollie Pemberton is an author and rapper who performs as Cadence Weapon. He was in Hamilton, and you could stream DeMarco's new album, Guitar, wherever you get your music. Mac has a show coming up in Vancouver in late September, and then he'll be doing a cross-Canada tour this December. And that's it for our podcast today. I'm Radheyan Simonpillai, sitting in for Elamin Abdelmahmoud. Elamin will be back tomorrow, so until next time.
Good night.